Hello, everyone. My name is Alexandre Pacheco da Silva, and this is Law and Technology series, a set of interviews with incredible scholars to discuss the impacts of new technologies in the legal field. I'm a law professor at São Paulo Law School at Getúlio Vargas Foundation and one of the coordinators of the Center for Education and Research in Innovation. Today, we have Professor Esther Keymolen. She's a full professor at the Tilburgo Institute for Law, Technology and Society. She's also the Vice Dean of Research of TLS, and Professor Esther Keymolen has a background in philosophy of technology and post-phenomenology. Her research focuses on the role of trustworthiness and privacy in networked and smart environments. In particular, Professor Keymolen focuses on the first-person perspective. In other words, what does trust and trustworthiness mean for an user of an AI application? She teaches courses in data ethics at programs as data ethics and entrepreneurship, at the Master in Data Science in Business and Entrepreneurship. In addition, she has been a guest lecturer for many different programs and organizations. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation and to be a part of this project, Professor Keymolen. So let me just explain how we structure our interview for today. We divided our interview into 3 questions. Feel free to approach the questions in any perspective that you like. And the main idea is that we can exchange ideas regarding these 3 main topics. And the first question that I have to you, Professor, it is, how is technology impacting the legal field in your view?
Yes, thank you, Alexander, for this question and for having me on this interview. How is technology impacting the legal field? I think we see different ways in which technology is impacting the legal field. For instance, there are new phenomena that are powered by technologies, data-driven technologies, that challenge how we think and how we think about, for instance, labor law. And we see, due to technologies, new kinds of economic developments that think about, for instance, platformization, how to deal with Uber drivers or Airbnb. And we see that these new forms of entrepreneurship lead to new questions in the legal field. We also see that due to the disruptive nature sometimes of technological developments, that it's sometimes a challenge for the legal field to catch up. So what we also see is that next to hard legal interventions, we increasingly also see the call for more quicker regulatory interventions. For instance, through ethical guidelines, so more of a kind of soft law approach. Standardization, so that through, for instance, technical standardization, certain agreements can be made on how technology is developed and how it's implemented and employed to kind of deal with this disruptive and very quick way in which technology is changing and is shaping our society. So I believe these are 2 ways in which technology is impacting the field. If you also, that's more kind of the academic perspective, but also if you look at legal practice, we see that technology has a huge impact on how legal professionals do their job. So in which way can AI, for instance, help to prepare court cases? Or how can AI assistants help judges to come to a verdict? So we also see that through the technology, the profession of a legal expert or a lawyer or a judge or professionals within the legal domain is rapidly changing. So this also means that we have to think about legal education. So how do we prepare our students to work in this new field that not only has to address new legal challenges because of technology, but is also changing the way in which we practice our legal profession. That's
very interesting to hear, because here in Brazil as well, we think about technology as not only a new phenomenon, but also a new cause for legal uncertainty, and the idea that we have new questions that we as lawyers need to address. And you mentioned platformization, you mentioned the changes and the challenges that we are seeing coming from labor law and other areas of law, but also the way that we practice law. And that is a second dimension that I consider very interesting, because we are seeing not only the judicial system changing and adopting new technologies, but also we are seeing the practice changing in a deeply way. And this leads me to my second question, that is, do you consider that is there a field of study that we can call law and technology? And just to give you some background of this question. Usually we discuss a lot here in our school, in our law school, if we need to adopt an approach regarding the study of law and technology, or the study of the impacts of the technology in the legal field, if we need to actually give the opportunity for professors in different areas to actually introduce how technology is impacting her or his legal field, in this idea that we can discuss technology in property law, we can discuss technology in criminal law, or should we create this new field of study, new courses that with a proper object that we can actually study, that we can call law and technology? We have different opinions regarding that subject, and I would like to hear your opinion regarding, is there this field that we can call law and technology?
Yeah, it's a very good question, and it's also something that is a question that we have within Tilburg Law School. So, as you know, I am a part of Tilburg Institute for Law, Technology and Society. So this is kind of an institute that is dedicated. Its existence is based on the idea that there is such a thing as a law and technology, or law or regulation and technology, as we take a broader approach to law. That there is such a field that warrants our attention and that needs this institute where experts are coming together and also providing education and master in law and technologies. We have that. So on the one hand, my answer is and should be yes, because it is kind of the institute I work at. So I think that there is definitely a need currently in society, both in the public and the private domain, to have legal professionals that are able to bridge the world of technology and the world of law or regulation, and to have a legal professional that is kind of well versed to look at different legal domains and understand what the technological challenges and questions are there, to help legal practice to come up with the best possible answers. So I think a professional with this profile is much needed, and because we are seeing that technology is not just part of one legal field or one domain in society. So it's really, I think, very important to have a professional that is able to have this overview and is needed in practice. But having said that, I also see that in the more traditional legal domains, in criminal law, in public law, in private law, that there of course are also very specific questions and challenges that technology brings forth in these specific domains. So I also don't think that even if you're still working in this more traditional domain, that you can just not look at the technology. So I also think that there as well, there is a need for a very expertise private law scholar or professional that still is able to grasp the challenges that technology brings to that specific domain. So I think it's an situation. So yes, I think there is a domain of law and technology, and that we have to educate professionals that are able to maneuver and work within this broad domain. And at the same time, we need to also, in these very specific disciplinary legal fields, we also have to make sure that our scholars and professionals are aware of the challenges that are very specific to a specific legal field.
That's very interesting in two specific dimensions. The first one, it is this idea that we are also discussing here, that we can see some capabilities, some abilities that we need to actually train our law students to actually practice law in this new field. Even though we are not actually discarding or in some sense, we are not aware that technology is impacting different fields of law. For example, we need to actually provide training for our law professors as well in the criminal law field, saying that you need to be able to navigate in this new world, especially because our judicial system is using new technologies, for example, to help them to search decisions or help them to actually draft a decision or a vote, something like that. But one thing that we are discussing a lot here, and I would love to hear you about, it is what should a law school do regarding the impacts of technology in the legal field? Because one thing that we discuss a lot, and I would like to hear from you, it is this idea that we can create new courses. And of course, a lot of schools are creating new courses right now, creating, for example, master programs. And we are actually organizing a lot of conferences, seminars, so on and so forth, to discuss those matters. But one thing that a lot of students ask us about that, it is, should we do more than that? Should we think about the idea of legal training in a different way? Should we include new topics, for example? Should we give more time to courses that deals with ethics, philosophy, or with technical subjects, for example? Should we include in our curriculum statistics, or, for example, should we train our students how to code? There are several questions regarding this idea of what should a law school do, that I would like to actually ask you, what do you think we should do, or in your school, what you are doing regarding that?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I don't know how it is for you, but within the Netherlands, the legal, the law programs, the bachelor especially, but also the master to a certain extent, we don't have that much room to add new courses, because of course we also have, especially if you want to become an attorney, you have to have certain number of core courses that you need to take in order to have this program. And so there we are already kind of limited in the way that about adding new courses. The program in the Netherlands and also at the law school is already quite packed. So one way of dealing with it is within these courses to have attention for technological challenges within these more traditional and core courses. So that, I think, is one strategy. But we also have a discussion about, do you need to be able to code, to be able to do some basic coding yourself? And so this is my personal perspective. So also in our law school and in the Netherlands, people are divided on this point. I don't think it's necessary for a legal professional or scholar to be able to do it themselves, but you should be able to understand how it works, so the rationale behind it, so how simple models work, how more complex models work, what the challenges are. So on that level, I think it is important to kind of educate our legal or law students. I think that is important. When it comes to philosophy and ethics, I'm of course biased because I have a training in philosophy and ethics. So I think everybody should have more courses in law and ethics. Again, I think that I like this idea of integrated courses. So I like this idea to have ethics and philosophy also, for instance, integrated in professional integrity courses. And there you can also put in the technical aspect. So of course we have in our curriculum how to be an ethical lawyer. So, but having this technology in there, so how do you use this technology in an ethical way? For instance, if you use it to do research or to help you write a plea or what have you, that how to do that in an ethical way. This is something that I think can fit in within the regular curriculum. So I have a kind of two-track strategy here. So on the one hand, trying to make sure that your normal curriculum is updated and takes into account these technological challenges. And on the one hand, have a program that is really dedicated to law and technology. So for the people that really want to have that as their kind of unique selling point and their unique expertise, that they really get kind of the more in-depth courses. And there is more room, for instance, to have a kind of more technical course, for instance, on cybersecurity or AI. So there you might want to put in a bit more of these technological or technical courses.
That sounds great. And to finish our interview, I'd like to ask you if you have a final message, especially for our students, our law students, because usually they ask us, do we have a job in the future, or they ask us, will us be replaced by robots? And any type of different question, but actually tackles the same issue, that is how the technology will reduce the type of opportunity that we will actually try to enjoy in our future. Do you have a final message for them to finish our interview?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, first of all, I think that students in your university and law school are very lucky to have a faculty that is thinking about this in a very proactive way, and this interview series is one way of doing that. But as you said, you have meetings and conferences, and so I think that is very important to keep ahead of the curve, to be a forerunner. You have to kind of actively think about this and discuss it, and I think you're doing that. So I think that students in your university and faculty are very lucky. And secondly, I'm not so worried about legal professionals being replaced by robots or software programs or what have you. Having a background in philosophy of technology and having studied the history of technology to a certain extent, with every new technological innovation or disruptive technology, there is this fear that we will lose our jobs, and that we will be bored because we don't know what to do anymore. But the thing with technology is, of course, it takes away some of the work that we were doing, but at the same time, it also brings along new desires, new needs. So the profession will change, definitely. but we are there. It's not set in stone or a curriculum. We can update that to make sure that we remain of big value to society. So the job might change, but I think the need for good legal, ethical professionals will remain. So I'm not worried at all.
Thank you very much, Professor Keymolen. It was an amazing interview, and thank you again to be a part of this project.
It was a pleasure, and let's keep in touch.